Before disco mirror balls took over every roller rink in 1976, the 75's rock dial tossed out a handful of one-off gems. Songs that flared up, owned the chorus, then left town on the last Greyhound. Here come 13 of those hit-and-run anthems. Number 1, Magic by Pilot. David Payton and Billy Lyle wrote the tune during a damp Edinburgh winter in late 1973, hoping something sunny might thaw the rehearsal room. They tracked it at Abbey Road on the 2nd of January 1974. Payton handled the layered 12-string parts, drummer Stuart Tosh kept the backbeat lean, and producer Alan Parsons slipped a discreet phase effect under the vocal to make the word "oh ho ho" shimmer. EMI held the UK single until the 31st of May 1974, just in time for BBC Radio 1's summer playlist. It reached number 11 on the UK chart by the 27th of July. Arista lifted the track for the United States on the 29th of March 1975. WABC New York added it the same day, and by the 26th of July, it sat at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, selling 900,000 US singles before Labor Day. A follow-up called January topped the UK list in 1975, but stalled at number 87 in the US, leaving Magic as Pilot's lone American claim to fame. Disney licensed the chorus for park fireworks in 1985, guaranteeing generations of vacationers would involuntarily hum, "Oh ho ho, it's Magic," while standing in popcorn lines. Number 2, Sky High, Jigsaw. You've blown it all sky high. Guitarist Clive Scott and drummer Des Dyer wrote the tune for the Australian martial arts film The Man from Hong Kong and cut it at Bradley's Barn outside Nashville on the 12th of February 1975. An unlikely setting for a disco-leaning pop rocker, but the studio happened to be free and the exchange rate was friendly. Producer Chaz Peets asked session player Russ Stableford to double the bass line an octave up so the chorus would bounce like a trampoline. The movie opened to polite applause. The single did better. It hit UK shops on the 10th of May 1975 and climbed to number 4 by the 7th of June. Chelsea Records picked it up for the United States on the 15th of August 1975. KHJ Los Angeles slotted it between Bee Gees and Bad Company, and by the 29th of November, the track was sitting at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 with 1 million US copies pressed. A 1975 Billboard memo noted that some stations sped the 45 by 2% to match the Bee Gees temp. 20 years later, British wrestlers used Sky High as ring walk music. The song promptly re-entered Japan's Oricon chart at number 12, outpacing the original film's lifetime box office. Number 3, How Long? Ace. Paul Carrack penned the lyric in early 1974 after discovering bassist Terry Comer moonlighting with rival outfit Sutherland Brothers and Quiver. Less romance, more rehearsal room infidelity. Ace recorded the track at Rockfield Studios, Monmouth, on the 18th of July 1974. Carrack on Wurlitzer 200A, Phil Harris playing a sunburst Telecaster through a high-watt stack set just below landlord complaint level. Anchor Records released the single in the UK on the 1st of November 1974, where it reached number 20. ABC picked it up for American distribution on the 10th of February 1975. WLS Chicago added it first, and the bass line's polite swagger carried the record to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 by the 17th of May 1975, also topping the Cashbox list for 1 week. Canada matched the US peak at number 3, while Australia pushed it to number 24, apparently forgiving the sly dig at extracurricular jamming. The track won an Ivor Novello Award for Best Pop Song in May 1975. Ace celebrated by losing 2 members to other bands, neatly closing the circle on its original subject matter. Carrack resurfaced 4 years later with Squeeze and proved that he could change teams without inspiring another chart-topping grievance. Number 4, Chevy Van, Sammy Johns.
You're gonna love me in my Chevy van, and that's alright with me.
Sammy Johns cut the track at GRC Studio in Atlanta on the 18th of July, 1973, borrowing studio owner Bill Lowry's Martin D28 and sliding a folded hotel towel under the strings to mute unwanted ring. Engineer Rodney Mills ran the acoustic through an EMT plate for the soft echo that gives the record its twilight glow, then doubled the bass with a Moog set so low it almost vibrated the coffee cups off the console. GRC issued the single regionally that autumn, but it stalled. Atlanta station said the lyric about a one-night ride needed more wedding bells, fewer shag carpets. Fast forward to the 17th of February, 1975. Los Angeles DJ Bob Ray finds the 45 in a station giveaway box, spins it once during a snowstorm news break, and phones light up. GRC rushes a national re-release on the 24th of February, 1975. Billboard's bubbling under list shows Chevy Van at number 110 on the 8th of March. By the 17th of May, 1975, it peaks at number 5 on the Hot 100 and sells 1 million U.S. copies in 12 weeks for an RIAA gold disc. Chevrolet dealerships reported a 6% uptick in van inquiries that summer. No proof anyone actually sealed the deal, but floor mats suddenly felt nervous. Canada pushed the record to number 4 on the RPM 100. The UK largely shrugged, placing it at number 97 on import sales before deciding public transport was fine. Johns never cracked the top 40 again, though he did license Chevy Van to a 1977 drive-in film of the same name, giving late-night moviegoers one more reason to reconsider exactly what was parked in the back row. Number 5, Third-Rate Romance, The Amazing Rhythm Aces. Singer-guitarist Russell Smith jotted the lyric on a Shoney's placemat outside Muscle Shoals in late 1974. Cheap wine, a diner waitress, and the kind of motel where the ice machine wheezes louder than the aircon. The band recorded the song at Sam Phillips Recording, Memphis, on the 12th of March, 1975. Barry Bird Burton laid down the sly lead on a vintage Les Paul Custom running through a dimed Fender Twin. Producer Tom Dowd mixed the track with a faint slap echo to make Smith's draw sound like it was ricocheting off Formica tabletops. ABC Records shipped the single on the 12th of June, 1975. WLAC Nashville added it first, followed by WLS Chicago and CKLW Detroit. By the 23rd of August, 1975, the record sat at number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 11 on the country list, and number 7 on adult contemporary. One song, 3 formats, no waiting. Across the border, RPM's country chart took it to number 1, while the pop list logged it at number 5. Australian pop radio nudged it to number 20, then dropped it once programmers noticed the lyric mentions boxed wine instead of surfboards. The single moved 700,000 U.S. copies by October and pushed the debut album Stacked Deck into the Billboard 200 Top 20. Smith later joked that the band's royalty statements proved Third-Rate Romance pays second-rate bills. But the track's after-hours groove still lands on every bar jukebox that knows its clientele can't afford first-class heartbreak. Number 6, Love is the Drug, Roxy Music. Catch that buzz, love is the drug. Roxy Music tracked the groove at Air Studios London on the 28th of July, 1975. Bassist John Gustafson laid down the walking line first take. Producer Chris Thomas told drummer Paul Thompson to keep the hi-hat half open for a nightclub heartbeat. Brian Ferry recorded the vocal at 3 a.m., pacing the live room with a cigarette, so the breath between lines sounded like he just stepped outside a Soho bar. Island issued the single in the UK on the 26th of September 1975, and it shot to number 2 by mid-October, stuck behind David Bowie's Space Oddity reissue. Atco serviced the record to U.S. stations on the 16th of January 1976. WMMS Cleveland and KLOS Los Angeles jumped first. The song entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 88 on the 24th of January and peaked at number 30 on the 20th of March. Roxy Music's only American Top 40 visit out of an otherwise cult classic catalog. Sales topped 400,000 U.S. singles, and New York's Danceteria spun the 12-inch so often the floor manager marked LITD in permanent marker on the DJ booth. While UK fans saw plenty more chart action, stateside pop radio filed Roxy Music under One and Done. Ferry later joked that the song paid for the limo he never used because he preferred walking home for research. Number 7, Jackie Blue, Ozark Mountain Daredevils.
Ooh, Jackie Blue. What's the game?
Bass player Larry Lee sketched the melody in a Springfield, Missouri basement, humming nonsense syllables over a gentle backbeat until producer Glenn John suggested turning the tune into a character study. The first draft followed a restless male friend who liked staying up all night. But Johns sensed AM radio would warm faster to a mysterious woman. Pronouns flipped, and Jackie became the neighborhood enigma who lives her life from inside of a room. Recording took place at Quadraphonic Sound Nashville on the 15th of October, 1974. Steve Cash laid down the electric piano hook on a Wurlitzer 200A run through a spring reverb tank, and John Dillon added the sliding acoustic fills on a battered Gibson J50 that reportedly shed 2 tuning pegs during the take. Johns mixed the master on the 18th of October, tucking an audible floor creak at 2 minutes 17 seconds because it sounded like Jackie leaving. ABC shipped the single on the 21st of January, 1975. KXOK St. Louis and WLS Chicago playlisted it immediately. And by the 10th of May, 1975, Jackie Blue sat at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, held in place by Elton John on one side and Earth, Wind & Fire on the other. It topped the Cashbox chart for 1 week, sold 800,000 U.S. singles by July, and nudged the album It'll Shine When It Shines into the Billboard Top 40. Canadian RPM pushed the track to number 1. The UK release stalled at number 107, perhaps because listeners were still trying to pin down whether Jackie was dreamy, unreliable, or both. Royal Albert Hall eventually booked the Daredevils for a 1976 date, during which an overeager fan yelled, "Who is Jackie?" only to be told politely that some mysteries ride out the fade-out intact. Number 8, Fooled Around and Fell in Love, Alvin Bishop. Alvin Bishop's bar band guitar was no stranger to FM playlists, but he never cracked pop radio until this ballad. He cut the basic track at Criteria Studios, Miami, on the 18th of August, 1975, intending to sing it himself. Producer Bill Simzik talked him into handing the lead to 22-year-old bassist Mickey Thomas, whose falsetto nailed the demo in 2 takes. The song went on Bishop's Struttin' My Stuff LP, shipped to U.S. stores on the 1st of October, 1975. Yet Capricorn didn't pluck a single until the 11th of December. Early ads on KSAN San Francisco and WQDR Raleigh kicked things off. Billboard dated the Hot 100 debut on the 17th of January, 1976, at number 88. By the 8th of May, it peaked at number 3, selling about 900,000 U.S. copies, and giving Bishop his lone top 40 visit. UK buyers nudged it to number 34, Canada pushed it to number 22, and Mickey Thomas parlayed the exposure straight into a Jefferson Starship invite, leaving Bishop to tour amphitheaters with a cardboard cutout that read, "Sorry, star singer promoted." Number 9, Never Been Any Reason, Head East. The Illinois Quintet tracked the song at Golden Voice Studios, South Pekin on the 16th of February, 1975. Keyboardist Roger Boyd ran a mini Moog into a Maestro phase shifter for the swirling intro, then stacked a second synth an octave higher because in the mid-70s, more oscillators solved everything except gas prices. Vocal duties were split. Drummer Steve Houston took the verse, singer John Schlitt grabbed the skyscraper chorus, and producer Mark Stebbins mixed the 2 parts so tightly the handoff sounds like a driver's ed double clutch. A&M released the parent LP, Flat as a Pancake, in February 1975, pressing just 5,000 copies for the Midwest. St. Louis station KSHE 95 wore out the album track, prompting A&M to carve a 3 minutes 29 second single and ship it nationally on the 23rd of July, 1975. It never cracked Billboard's Hot 100, stalling at number 102 on Bubbling Under, yet regional demand kept Midwestern record stores reordering until the album went gold by 1978. Proof that flyover airwaves can bankroll an entire touring career. College stations still spin the full 5-minute, 11-second album cut, usually right before last call when the double moog break feels like a good idea and nobody's measuring the fade-outs with a stopwatch. Number 10, Slow Ride, Foghat. Foghat tracked their signature 8-minute jam at Suntreater Studios, Sharon, Vermont on the 8th of August, 1975. Producer Nick Jameson played bass himself, letting the groove lope at a laid-back 96 beats per minute. Fast enough for biker bars, slow enough for Bic Lighter sway. Bearsville issued the parent LP, Fool for the City, on the 15th of September 1975 and serviced an edited 3 minutes 56 second single to U.S. rock stations on the 10th of November. WPLJ New York and KMET Los Angeles led the charge. The edit joined the Hot 100 at number 88 on the 6th of December and climbed to number 20 by the 21st of February 1976. That top 20 peak remains Foghat's only U.S. pop breakthrough. Billboard's mid-'76 survey listed Slow Ride among the 10 most played jukebox rock cuts, right between Tush and Freebird. UK shops pushed a February 1976 release, but the single stalled outside the top 40. Critics joked Britain already had plenty of slow rides called The Northern Line. Foghat went on to sell gold albums, yet none of the later singles cracked the pop side again, cementing Slow Ride as the one-ticket entry on their singles resume. Number 11, I'm on Fire, Dwight Twilley Band. Dwight Twilley and Phil Seymour walked into Leon Russell's Church Studio Tulsa on the 17th of June 1975 with a fresh Sun Records fixation and no drummer. They built the track around a double-tracked slapback vocal, Seymour's hand claps, and a $60 Maestro fuzzbox that slipped off the power strip twice. Punching a neat dropout at 1 minute 23 seconds you can still hear on every pressing. Producer Jenny Cordell mixed to mono first, then realized AM radio was quietly switching to stereo and ran a second pass in the other room. Shelter mailed 500 white label promos to Midwest stations on the 7th of July, 1975. KMOD Tulsa spun it at 9:03 p.m., and the request line lit for the next hour. National release followed on the 25th of July. Bad timing, because Shelter's distributor, ABC, entered a warehouse strike 2 days later. Shipments dribbled, yet the single still hit Billboard's Hot 100 at number 87 on the 2nd of August, 1975. It climbed to number 16 by the 18th of October, selling about 600,000 U.S. copies on what reviewers called catch-as-catch-can distribution. Canada's RPM popped it to number 14. The UK finally got stock in November and gave it a modest number 46. Follow-up single Shark in the Dark arrived during Jaws fatigue and missed the Hot 100 entirely, leaving Twilley's lone pop hit to bankroll a van, a trailer, and exactly one neon band sign that blew its transformer on the first trip. Number 12, Wildfire, Michael Murphy. Murphy sketched the lyric One Colorado Night in 1973 after his ranch hand swore he'd seen a ghost horse pacing the fence line. A Hooves in the Snowtail meets Top 40 was how the singer later framed it. He recorded the song at Ray Stevens Studio A in Nashville on the 11th of December 1974. Session regular Hargus Pig Robbins handled the tack piano intro. Murphy doubled the whistle on a cheap plastic recorder bought at a truck stop because no one could find a proper penny whistle at 2 a.m. Epic issued the single on the 17th of March 1975. WSM Nashville and KNUS Dallas added it the first week, and by the 7th of June 1975, Wildfire was cantering at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the Adult Contemporary list. Sales crossed 1 million U.S. copies by midsummer, earning an RIAA gold disc. Quite a haul for a ballad that name-checks Hoarfrost. Canada pushed it to number 2, while UK audiences, perhaps unconvinced by spectral livestock, left it hovering at number 30 on import. The parent LP Blue Sky, Night Thunder, hit platinum, and Murphy still whistles the coda live, claiming it's the cheapest special effect in his road budget. Number 13, Autobahn, Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk tracked the full 22-minute suite inside their Kling Klang workshop Dusseldorf on the 9th of July, 1974, wiring a Mini-Moog, EMS Synthi A, and custom-built rhythm generator through a Studer 8-track that shared space with a bicycle rack and a coffee maker. Florian Schneider's vocoder chant, "We're firin', firin', firin'," ran through an echo unit set to 1/8 second delay to mimic highway bounce. German label Vertigo issued the LP that August. U.S. execs liked the highway concept, but not the sidelong runtime. Mercury engineers in Chicago spent 4 days trimming the piece to 3 minutes 27 seconds, splicing tape every 4 bars with razor blades and white grease pencil marks that now auction for museum money. Mercury shipped U.S. singles on the 10th of January 1975. KSAN San Francisco test drove it during evening freeform hours. WNEW-FM New York followed after midnight the same week. Billboard logged the single at number 25 on the 22nd of February 1975. Kraftwerk's only American Top 40 appearance, and estimated 300,000 stateside sales by April. UK shops filed the import under Rock Other, yet listeners pushed it to number 11 on the 22nd of March. Critics debated whether vocoders counted as lead vocals. Keyboard Magazine simply tallied gear requests and declared Mini-Moog backordered until summer. West German Auto Club ADAC briefly considered using the track in highway safety spots, scrapped the idea when focus groups started speeding, and settled for Mozart instead. Kraftwerk kept refining their road music, but for U.S. pop radio, the Autobahn exit ramp closed here. So the list's done. Earworm quota met. Which song just kicked your brain's jukebox back to 1975? Type it in and let the chorus do the talking.